Hello guys, and welcome back to Crafting with Samantha. In today's video, I'm going to give a tour of my craft room and some of the organizations that I use in the craft room. We're going to, of course, start at the door and I'll show you around. So this is the door that you walk in from the craft room, and this is just a little walkway. And right there I have an initial that I've painted, and I'll make a video on demonstrating how to do that. Then down here on the floor I have a baby cradle that came from my mother-in-law's grandma, and a baby that came from her, and the pillow is actually from mine and my husband's wedding. It is the ring bearer pillow. Then we have this closet, which is just filled with a bunch of random stuff. Some totes of fabric and extra storage containers and stuff like that. Then I have a big white board on my wall that I like to usually write some inspirational quotes and maybe a schedule on it. And down here on the floor I have my people box I got when I was a kid from a dear friend who passed away. And then in that cage I have TY babies, and I'm actually going to take those out of there and make something out of that cage. And then right there I have canvases. That is a painting that I did, and I don't really like it, so I'm going to try to paint over it and redo one. And then over in this corner I have a shelving unit. I got this recently when I was back home in Michigan from my mother-in-law. And as you can see, up there I have most of all my paints. And then down there I have a cover to a junk journal that I am going to be trying to make. And then I have some washi tape, a jar that has some bookmarks that I made in it, and some painter's tape. Then on this shelf I also have painting supplies. I have my chalk paints, and then I have some tacky glue and some E6000, which needs to go in a different container. And then I have some glitter glue and some glitter paint and paint sticks. And then over here I have I have some watercolor paper and my palettes. Then down here I have my hot glue gun sticks, a little I can't remember, compass tool here, and then Mod Podge and some glitter glue back there. And I like to use old jars as my painting water cups, and so I have some of those, and I have one up here with some paper towel, and that's where I keep my paintbrushes, and some little cups I got from the Dollar Tree in case I don't have a jar to put some water in. And then all my canvases and my easel is up there. Then down here I have some stamps in there. I don't have a very big stamp collection, just very little. They literally all fit in there. And some ribbon here. And then down here is actually bookmark casings and their tassels. Then over here I have some paper clips and some charms and some paper scraps and a little DIY Christmas bell wreath. I'll be showing how to make those. Then down there I have some flat marbles, and then some glitter and rubber bands, and I'm not sure what's in this bottom container. Oh, some ink pads. Then googly eyes. I really enjoy googly eyes. I have a lot of them, and I don't really, I haven't really done much crafts with them, so I'm going to have to look into finding some stuff to make with those. Down there I have some felt stickers that I've had, and some other felt items that I've made with my Cricut. And then down here is my button storage, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I am going to be making a video on that. Then next to this shelf, I have my beading cart with a little apron on it that needs, actually needs to be repaired. I like to put things on carts, that way I can wheel them to where I'm working and such. So down here on this bottom, I have my Impreza stamping tool and some little charms and elastic and stuff. And then in these containers over here, I have some jewelry. This container is actually empty, and this is my little Impreza tool hammer. And then down here I have pony beads, and then I do have some glass beads back here. And then these are little keychains that I've made, the little lizard keychains. And then up here I have a little set that has jump rings in it, head pins, and some chain, little pieces of chain for a project that I'm working on, and I'll be showing you guys soon. And then I have some more glass beads in these containers. These containers are in the craft section at the Dollar Tree, and that's what I have a lot of my beads in. But I don't actually recommend them because they don't stay closed very well. I'm probably going to be switching to more of these containers, and if I can get my hands on them. Then back here we have wire, and these are some more charms. And then right here I have some 2mm elastic that I'm going to be using in my junk journals. And then here, this was actually what I was working on last night, so I just put it in here to continue working on it. Some wire, and then an empty container here. This is my cart that's right next to my desk. And down here I just have some random stuff. There's some feathers, and there's a bunch of erasers in the other storage container. One pencil cases that have some pencils in it, color pencils that don't fit on the top of the cart, and another apron. Then down here is where I have most of my coloring utensils, my gel pens and my markers and my permanent markers, and a bunch of extra pens that won't fit on top, and pencils and a bunch of highlighters, and of course my 3-hole punch. I also have some whiteboard markers that I use on my whiteboard back there. Then up here, this is all pens. These are some flower pens that I've made that I can make a tutorial on. Of course, the American flag. And then I have colored pencils here, as you can see. Markers and more markers. These ones I can actually fit in my Cricut. And then this is a book that I'm going to be possibly turning into a junk journal or a traveler's notebook. This is again the apron that needs fixed. In this container we have E6000, the Tombow, the tacky glue, and some jewelry making tools that I was using last night, and I'm going to show you guys what I was doing with them. Some more E6000. This is where the other thing of E6000 needs to go. And probably the 2 tacky glue. This way it's accessible next to my desk. Yes, back there is my graduation gown. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. And this is my chair. And this is my desk. On top of the desk is just a plastic tablecloth. My desk is glass, and so I put that on there to so it's easily cleanable when I work with paints and stuff. And then this drawer has just some essentials in it. It has some pens and some glass cleaner, USBs, paper clips, a little bit of change. You never know when you need change. Not paper clips. Stapler, a comb, a bracelet that I need to fix. That's actually mine. A tin. That tin actually has some Q-tips in it, but I'm going to do a project with it and turn it into something else. Over here I have my rotary cutter. This is my paper rotary cutter. And my stapler and some whiteout, a calculator, and that's gold thing in the back is one of those stretchy rulers. And then I do have some scissors down in there also. And this one I have some binder clips, and my Fitbit is in there, and a little bobby pin crocheted flower that I made. If you want to see a tutorial on this, let me know and I will show you. Over here I have my electric pencil sharpener and some batteries to go with it, and then this empty storage container. I can put little projects in there. And then of course over here I have some stamps, a little book that I like to write in, keep notes, and then down there is a mini cutting board and ruler by We Are Memory Keepers. This ruler set is a small one. It's only like 6 inches, and I like to use it for cutting on small things because it has the metal ruler. And then these are my calico critters that I will be making some videos on about some stuff that I have made for them and are going to make for them. Next to my desk I have a little TV stand that we took out of our living room. We got a different one. And down there on the floor, as you can see, I have my sewing. This is my extra sewing machine. This is the one I first got when I started a sewing machine. And then I have some paper, and in the bottle is some thieves cleaner. I like to keep it around to clean off my mats. Over here I have my scoring board, and right there I have a mini paper cutter. Then right there is my picture that you seen in my last video, and then over here is another light, and this is where I keep my Cricut at. And those are Cricut tools and scissors and stuff that I would need for the Cricut. And those up there are some butterfly lights. They're actually battery operated, so I probably need to change the batteries in them because they're not working. And down here is where I keep most of my Cricut supplies. This is wax paper and parchment paper, and then this is actually a roll of transfer tape. Right here is where I keep most of my vinyl. Right there is a project I'm going to be working on soon, and these are the cutting mats for the Cricut, and then down in the container is most of my vinyl. Now down here on this bottom rack, I actually have blanks and stuff to stick the vinyl on. Some of this is going to actually end up being Christmas presents, and so I will show you how I made those. And those right there are going to be, those jars that are painted are going to be blessing jars. I just haven't had a chance to finish them. Over here, this is a gray shelf, and it is right next to the TV stand. Down there I have, in the bottom two are cardstock that I have in the bottom one is bigger cardstock, and then the top one is 8 and 11 sheets. And then in the next container is my clear vinyl that I use to make my little bags. In this container over here I have a twine and burlap, stuff like that. That is actually a bird cage, or not a bird cage, a bird house that I'm going to be painting. This right here is my Dremel tool, and of course you always need safety glasses, and I highly recommend actually doing this in a well ventilated area outside. Right here is just some random kid crafts that I was doing with my sister-in-law, and we just have them stored here for now. So when maybe she comes back home, maybe we can figure them out. They're little pom-pom balls. They were actually not that easy. Over here I have the extra part of the tablecloth. I cut it down, and I actually have a purple one in here. These are for when I do go to craft shows. I have some tablecloths, and then down here are a bunch of bags that I like to put my craft things in. On the second shelf, I just have some random stuff. This is extra tape, and this is actually a mini tape runner that needs to go over on my desk. And then up there I have some badges that I'm going to make a project out of, and just these drawers just have random stuff in it, some pens and stuff, and I'm actually probably going to get rid of these. And I got some paper clips in them, and I actually got these from Ollie's. This is where I keep my glue gun and glue sticks, of course, and I like to label anything that's not see-through. And so I have my glue gun and regular glue and stuff in there. Up here, I just have a bunch of storage containers that I'm going to be using with my calico critters, making different houses and stuff. In this container, I have some stencils and some stuff I was using to work on quiet books, and of course I got it for Ollie's for $4.99. This has foam shapes in it. It has Easter eggs, hearts, and that stuff right there. And then right there are my essential oils. Up there is a popsicle house that I made, and this was going to be for my calico critters. And I actually made this little picnic bench out of it. And up there is some more water bottles that are blank to put vinyl on. Right here I have some glass trivets that I put vinyl on those ones. These ones are just blank. They need to go in the blank bin. Right here I have my ironing for my sewing machine, and these bins. That bin, the flowery bin, has felt in it, bunch of felt. And then in this, the bottom one has fleece in it, and the middle one just has some random stuff in it, and the top one is mainly my backings, infuser supplies, and tearaway stuff for my embroidery machine. This is a little felt doll that I was making. I haven't finished her yet. And here I actually have a bunch of fabric that goes together for a quilt that I was working on that I want to get back to working on. And then in these storage containers is mostly fabric and stuff. Down here I have batting and some mostly batting and some stuffing. Down here is where I keep most of my fleece. Down here is mostly fabric, and it has different bundles and stuff of it that I got. And then in here I have t-shirts to embroider or put vinyl on. And then up here I have a bunch of hats that I bought that were on sale, and those get vinyl and stuff also. And then up there I actually have some of my clear zipper bags that I'm going to be making a video on how I made them. There's a couple different kinds in here. And I have my zippers and stuff up here. I'm actually probably going to be switching this one and the bottom one out. And then I have, this is more beading stuff that won't fit on my beading cart. It was just too heavy and too bulky, so I put it over here instead. Down there I have poly pellets that I made some weighted blankets out of. I'm going to be making some more, and I may do a tutorial on that. Right there I have a bunch of as you can see, cards and stuff, and I'm going to be using those in junk journals that are note cards. And then over there I have some canning jars. I was making some bath bombs and stuff, but they didn't really work out well, so I'm going to be doing other projects with those, making blessing jars and stuff like that. Over here I have another marble collection. I have a bunch of marbles. Those are actually marbles that I've done, and I will be making a video on those. That container right there actually has some scrapbooking supplies in it from when I was a kid. These are different wood photo frames, and I'm also going to be making Christmas presents out of. And over here are some tins that I got that I'm going to be making little animals to go in, and I'm calling them travel buddies. In the container below it, I have some envelopes and stuff like that for more junk journals. Up here, I have my laminating machine. Over here, I have some more envelopes and some more mini cardstock. This container over here just has some random stuff in it. It has some pipe cleaners, a storage container that actually needs to go with my other storage containers, and some bubble wrapper, and more felt. This is felt scraps that I've cut, and there's also completed quiet book pages in here that I never got around to giving out. Right here is my embroidery floss and another container that needs to go into the other containers apparently, and craft lace and some beads, and I actually need these. These are what I use to make the lizard key rings. I use the lace. Right there I have a bunch of foam letters, and right there are some more marbles that I made. These ones I think are actually for my tic-tac-toe boards that I made. In this container I have those little fabric pot holder makers. That one's not been finished, and I'm dropping stuff everywhere. Right there is just a thing of envelopes, and that storage container I moved, and a necklace that my husband got me a long time ago. And right here I have mostly fake flowers in there, and then some of the stuff to use to make the fabric pins. Up there I have an empty shadow box and some picture frames that I'm going to be doing a project with here soon. Right there is where I keep my perler beads in there. Right here in this big container is actually all my rubber band loom supplies, and right there all my popsicle sticks. Up there is just mainly Christmas crafts and some clothespins, and then that is actually a crochet thing. It has Mickey and Minnie Mouse in it, and I haven't made them yet. I got that kit from Ollie's, I believe. Then you wrap around the corner and you got my sewing cart. Mainly on the bottom is just some thread, some hand sewing thread, not recommended for sewing machine, some basting spray, fabric siftener, and some other little spools of thread. And then I do have some elastic and some Velcro down there. Then the next shelf is all my sewing machine and embroidery machine thread, and then on the top here it's kind of a little bit of a mess right now. I have all my scissors and pinking shears, and these are some pinking shears, and then over here I got all my pins and my first bobbin case and some more needles, and then supplies for my sewing machine, some tape rulers, and those are the rotary cutters I got the other day. I haven't seen my friend to give them to her. And then back here I actually have my wonder clips and my other bobbin case, but I'm going to be turning this back around. For some reason I turned it about. This is my big 36-inch cutting mat that I have for my sewing machine to cut my fabric. That up there is my embroidery hoop, and these are my cutting mats, my smaller cutting mats, and my cutting rulers. The blue thing with arrows on it is actually going to be a sewing project. It was a dress that I got that doesn't really fit. The buttons are too loose, and so I'm going to turn it into an apron. This is where I do all of my sewing. That is my sewing / embroidery machine. And what the stand on it is actually an old sewing machine. You flip the thing over and it comes up out of the thing. And my ironing board is what everything is hanging on. I also have a mini ironing board under here that is a travel ironing board that I will show you guys how I made that. And then up there I have some Mickey Mouse paintings. I am a big Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse fanatic, and so I have a lot of paintings and stuff of theirs. And then over here I have a big jar that has some marbles in it, which I'm going to put some of those marbles over there back into here because I like displaying them. Then in here I have notebooks and journals and some randoms, and then over here I also have some randoms. That's actually a Christmas card and Skippo, and then binders. Down there I have some newspapers that I like to lay down when I'm painting, and I used them to make items stiffer, like paper mache, And then down there I have some coloring supplies that I have for when my nieces and nephews and stuff come over. Up here I have some white cardstock and some regular printer paper, and then those are actually coloring books, and these are some quiet book pages that I made. Over here I have sketchbooks and poster board and what is this? Not cardstock, construction paper, and then coloring books and a sushi book that I got. And this is where my printer is, and of course up top I have a little Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And then we're back at the door. Over here, I think I'm eventually going to get a little shelf to fit alongside the door to put most of my Mickey and Minnie Mouses on, because I have quite a bit that I can't display right now. And then in the middle of the floor is just a rug. And usually I like to bring in a card table, and sometimes I do my crafts on there because it gives me more room to do them. And so yeah, that's the room. If you want a more detailed description of some of the storage containers that I have, or any questions, or what kind of items I have, just let me know. I am going to be linking some videos down, or some links down below of some of the stuff that I showed you today. And thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and have a nice day. Thank you.